Hello everyone, this is Kaz with Elevateyourcraft, and welcome to another box opening for Ultra Prism. And what you see right here is what I was able to pull from my previous Ultra Prism box opening, and it wasn't too bad. I gotta say, a couple full arts, a couple of the Prism cards, and then a few just your regular art GXs. So all around, not too bad. Pretty happy with it, especially with that full art rainbow Duskbane Necrozma GX. Really cool card. Happy that I was able to pull it. So why don't we get right into it? Got a fresh box here to look at. So can't say I'm looking for anything in particular at this moment. I'm really up in the air about what I'm going to play. Tomorrow will be a League Cup, a local League Cup that I'll be playing at, but to be honest, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably, I mentioned in my last video that I've been testing Glaceon GX and a few of the different variants there. So just because I have some experience with Glaceon, I'll likely play some sort of a variant of that, whether it's with the Zoroark GX as a partner, or maybe even Garbodor, the Garbotoxin variation. I've also been playing Alolan Ninetales GX with Glaceon, and it's so much fun. I might even just try that. So we'll see. I'm not quite sure. I'm really up in the air on it. So I might just kind of pick something and not take it too seriously, because at this point there is some uncertainty out there as to what changes will occur in the meta anyway. So still fairly new to the game, only on about 7 months playing now, and I tend to rely on the people that have the most experience out there, the ones that have been playing for a long time, really know how to build decks. I can't expect to be as good in theory crafting or deck building as good as those people out there that have a ton more experience, more competitive experience, just general experience playing the game and that type of thing. So I figure if I can pick 2 or 3 of the more meta decks that I enjoy playing, but also that are just top tier decks, and play those and just get better at the game. That's the focus for me, is to just get better at it and learn how to make better decisions, that kind of thing. The deck building and that type of thing will come. Just give it time and rely a little on those out there that have just a ton more experience and knowledge of the game than me, and I'll eventually get there. So that's the idea for now. We'll see what I play tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. I may even just stick with a Buzzwole variant like Buzzrock, or even Buzzwole Garbodor. Do have a fair amount of playing time with the Buzzwole in particular, so maybe that's the best choice. Kind of just play something that I am comfortable with. Okay, so the first few packs, nothing too outstanding so far, and the Mount Coronets are always useful. Hopefully I can at least be on par with my previous box and get a good amount of decent pulls out of there. Maybe that full art Cynthia. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there's something there. And it's a Glaceon GX. Very cool. Very cool. I did manage to get my hands on 3 of those to build the Glaceon GX Alolan Ninetales deck that I currently have. I've kept my Alolan Ninetales GX cards. I love playing it. It's so much fun. So I did have those already, but had to work to get those Glaceon GXs. But hey, a 4th one is always great, and maybe I'll do now some sort of quad Glaceon type deck. So maybe finding that is telling me something, but really cool. Love that card. The Freezing Gaze ability, I think it's just so nice against the Zoroark. variants right now, but awesome. Really happy about that one. Okay, Volkner. That's something I can't say I've really seen in my. I'm definitely not in my tournament play because I haven't. It's been a little bit. Got to be at least a month or so since I played in an actual local tournament or League Cup, I should say. And then Volkner couldn't have been played even if he wanted to at that point. But even online, I think I've seen it once. Can't remember if it was that a Raichu deck. Might have been. I think he went looking for an energy and a choice band at that point. But the Luxray card, I was maybe looking into that at one point, but with the energy discard, the 150 to 1 opponent, stage 2, I don't know. From what I've found in my research online and what the pros are saying, it doesn't seem to be making too much of a splash. So I guess Luxray won't be making an appearance, at least at this point. But you never know. So the Glaceon GX is the first GX of this box, and hopefully not the last. Definitely in the future, I want to do something kind of cool with the box openings and, say, hey, if I find a certain card or if I get this many of this, tie it in with the calisthenics and jump rope, when I do get the stream up and running and that kind of thing. I definitely want to find a way to incorporate it. I think that would be a lot of fun. And a reverse holo Empoleon. Cool. I did play the Empoleon deck a bit. I got maybe 20 games in with a certain variation. I've also heard that there is Zoroark GX Empoleon out there. All these different partners for Zoroark. It's pretty amazing. But I'm not quite sure. Seems like it's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if it would be kind of like Guardy, where you have just the basic and then the stage 2, and you run rare candies and get your Zoroarks up and then just try to rare candy the Empoleons. But as soon as I saw Empoleon, I thought that's such a cool card. I like it a lot. So it could be something that I continue with in the near future. Oh, cool. Okay, a full art Pokemon fan club. Awesome. So we got 2 full art trainers. Well, one from this box, certainly the looker from the previous Ultra Prism box that I looked at. So that's really neat. I think that card will become more popular with Bridget gone. Eventually maybe some decks at that time will use the fan club to set up. So could be a bright future for that particular card, and it's awesome to find the full art. I always loved full art trainers. I mean, I'm not really a, I guess, like full art rainbow type guy when it comes to the Pokemon and that kind of thing, but I wouldn't mind having a good collection of full art trainers. I think they're really cool and love the artwork on them. Let's see. Gibble, Pachirisu. That's the Pokemon I was thinking of when I mentioned the Raichu deck previously. Couldn't quite think of this little guy's name at the time when I was talking about the Volkner, but I think that's the deck where I saw the Volkner being used. And I think I got stomped that game as well. My opponent just had everything they needed set up, and I'm not quite sure what I was playing at the time, to be honest. I think it might have been some sort of spread Necrozma GX type psychic with Lunala Prism. I kind of just thought, maybe that's an interesting idea, and put something together. Played a handful of games, maybe 10 to 12, and then kind of thought, this feels a little underwhelming, but who knows? Maybe there's a future there as well. Darkrai Prism, very cool. Such a nice card. I do Love that ability, and the attack is really cool. I'm surprised. Well, it's still early, but I could see this becoming a card that gets played, whether it's some sort of Turbo Darkrai or Darkrai variation of some sort. I could definitely see someone throwing it in. What type of deck, I'm not exactly sure, but a really cool card. Awesome find. And another Pachirisu. Okay, so not doing too bad so far. I did try, this was mostly online, but I actually was able to pull a couple Leafeons in just from random packs that I'd gotten at the local store or whatever. Was able to get a couple. It was actually a Rainbow Full Art Leafeon and then just the regular art. And I thought, I wonder if Leafeon GX and Decidueye GX would work. And I built the deck online, and it really suffered from consistency issues I found, and the ability shut off was just crippling. Of course, you can't do any feather arrows. And if you do get a turn 1 Grand Bloom, I mean, you're in, again, not bad shape, but with ability shut off, and it's tough for, I mean, any of the evolutions to kind of take damage early. If you aren't able to hit that double colorless, then you can't attack, and you're just taking damage. And if your Decidueyes are set up, but you have ability lock on, and you can't do those feather arrows, it just became really, really tough. So it seemed like a cool idea on paper. Whether it would actually be practical, I don't really know. But I found that it was a tough setup to get out, and you had to hit the cards you needed. Whether it was the Bridget, and then making sure that you get the grass energy out for the energy evolution, and then the Grand Bloom. So could be revisited down the line, but it was a tough one for me to navigate at that time. Okay, Alolan Executor. Card that's been pretty, well, I guess the Pokemon, I should say, underwhelming from Crimson Invasion, and now we have the Stage 1, the regular Stage 1. And, I mean, I've heard people say the Crimson Invasion was a pretty underwhelming set anyway, but onward. Okay. Roll Alolan Diglett. Okay, Lucario, the reverse. Hollow, and a Magnezone. I think that's the first Magnezone I've seen in how many packs now? But maybe not. I could be mistaken. Definitely saw a lot of Magnemites and Magnetons. So I wonder if that card will become more prevalent. The Duskmane Necrozma GX deck that I talked about a fair bit in the previous opening, but just have some of those turns, or I've played against an opponent that had those turns where an absurd amount of energy comes down, and you're just like, how is this even possible? Okay, Missing Clover. Don't think that one will really see any play. Kind of seems pretty gimmicky. I mean, if it was, it'd have to be in a Zoroark type deck, but so far, we've got the Glaceon GX, the Pokemon Fan Club Full Art, and the Darkrai Prism. So that fourth Glaceon, I mean, this one card would be the fourth that I own. Could come in really handy, as been thinking of doing some sort of quad Glaceon GX disruption type deck. So very glad I was able to pull that. Okay, and we're almost halfway through. Okay. The Giratina Prism is one that I haven't been able to pull. So that one would be cool to find. Can't say I've really pulled many rainbows either, to be honest. It's, I mean, I guess that's the point. They are the rarest of the cards, so. And the Garchomp. All right. And we hit the halfway point. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Magnemite and a full art Duskmane Necrozma. Look at that. So I wonder if these pulls are trying to tell me something. Maybe I should be playing Duskmane Necrozma GX. That makes for 2. I think the decks that I've seen so far only play 2. I'm not 100% sure, but there you go. This opens up the possibility. I do have the core cards of that deck, of these lists anyway, that we've seen as of now, like the Magnezones, the Solgaleo Prism. What else is in there? Maybe some play the Dialga GX. So I do have the core cards, so it's certainly a possibility. And another one. Wow, look at this. We've got the trifecta, so the regular art, the full art, and then the full art rainbow rare. Wow, I ask again, are these pulls telling me something? Maybe it's a deck that I try out. I'm lucky enough to find the triple Duskmane Necrozma GX. So, doing pretty well so far, gotta say. And the Tapu Lele Fairy, that seems like a really cool card. I've played it. I haven't played it in person, a deck with it in it in person. I've definitely played a few of the spread type decks that include it. Somewhat tedious because the damage transfers. Just one damage counter at a time, so they could have a 5-minute turn of just transferring damage. But it seems pretty interesting. I remember playing at a tournament. This is going back to October, I think, where my opponent was playing a similar idea deck where they had a Necrozma GX and they maybe spread with Black Ray, and then they've got a couple Cocos in there, and that card would have been maybe useful. I mean, at that time, I guess the counter energy wasn't around either, so that's what was included now from what I've seen, the counter energy, so you can just throw it on, and if there's enough damage on your board, your opponent can really just clean up. And funnily enough, that game, I did play him at the tournament. I was playing Vikabulu, and of course, as I mentioned, he was playing that spread type deck. And the other was a Esper and a Meowstic line from Generations, if I am not mistaken. And I was down to 1 prize, and there was a fair amount of damage on my board, and he was able to take all 6 prizes in 1 turn. So it came down to the Meowstic coming out. It's a single energy, single psychic energy. Just brought it into the active, shifted the damage around, and took all 6 prizes in 1 turn. It was pretty impressive. Shout out to my opponent. It was so cool to see and pretty surprising. And I got to say, a bit unfortunate for me. But, how often do you see all 6 prizes in 1 turn? So happy to be a part of it. Pretty cool learning experience. And we get the Solgaleo Prism. Okay, so, wow, the metal, really, again, are these pulls trying to tell me something? So that's the second Solgaleo Prism. And those Necrozmas, gotta love it. Okay, so we are moving along quite nicely here. Electabuzz. This was actually, the Electabuzz was one of my favorites back at the base deck. I remember playing that card. Alakazam was my favorite card at the time. And I played a Psychic deck with Alakazam. There was a Jinx in there. And I remember at a tournament, I beat a Charizard deck, which was really huge at the time. And I can't remember all the details. I remember I pulled some shenanigans with the Jinx because she had an attack that did more damage for the more damage counters you had on yourself. And it was so cool. I remember beating the Charizard deck and was pretty happy. And at that point, I kind of decided, okay, you know, maybe I want to try a different type of deck. And I traded my Alakazam and my other Psychic cards for Zapdos and built a Zapdos deck that included Electabuzz. I loved that card. It was super powerful. Kind of along the lines of Hitmonchan. I remember that card was awesome. I still have 4. It was the jab, I think, for 40 damage and 3 energy attachments. And you think now, for 3 energy, what do the attacks do as compared to that at the time? But, hey, I guess that's how the game changes. And we have the Dialga GX. So another card that I've found, again, in this pull. Cool, and it is also the regular art again. So we are rolling. Got a good pile going here. Okay. Fan Rotom. Move 4 damage counters from each of your Pokemon to your opponent's active. Interesting. Gabite. I think that might be the first Gabite I've seen, too. A lot of Gibbles and a few Garchomps, and there's good old Electabuzz again. Gotta love it. Okay. On to the next one. Murkrow Eevee. Empoleon. Not seeing a lot of Empoleons either. I think this might only be the second one. The last one was a reverse holo. Okay. Stunky. Magmar, Alolan Diglett. Okay. Not much here. That 4 energy dangerous Stinger. For stage 1, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed and poisoned. Well, that hurts. Yeah, but that 4 energy, especially with no psychic acceleration, feels bad. Although I think there's some psychic acceleration coming soon in Forbidden Light, if I'm not mistaken. But that'll be really neat. I think there's some possibilities there. So Electivire, the good old evolution to Electabuzz. And our friend Looker, wondering what's going on there in his trench coat. All right, and we have about, I think, 5 packs left. Let's bring it home, Pulls. Let's bring it home. And Gibble, Pachirisu, and a Lucario. Okay, so I think I'm coming up on the cards I need to build a full Garchomp deck. So maybe it is in the cards for me. Let's keep that one on the side here. Although I have had a lot of success against it online. So I don't know. And again, with the stage 2s, can't say I'm a huge fan. Manaphy. Cresselia. That's a nice card. At 120 health. I guess it'd be kind of cool if it had 130 health. Okay. Oh, looks like a prism. And we have Cyrus. And of course, the old print of Cyrus. The new, but not correct. So this one is going to have an errata. You can't play this card if you don't have any water or metal Pokemon in play. I believe it was mistranslated, and the proper terminology is along the lines of you have to have a water or metal in the active to be able to play. So who knows? Having the incorrect card is kind of cool. Don't know if it'll be worth much, really, maybe for collectors sometime down the line, but awesome. This makes for my second Cyrus. So very happy to find that one. I can see myself using it in some capacity. So really, really neat. And the second to last packs. So what do we get here? Any solid unit Magnemite, the escape board. And Magearna, really cool card. I like that a lot. Has a similar ability to the Genesect EX, I believe. But it's nice to have it on a basic, just regular Magearna. Wonder if it'd be used maybe in a Garbotoxin Garbodor. You know, they have the tool on Magearna. If they aren't able to field blower your tools, or all of them, you know, if they do field blower the Garbotoxin Garbodor, you know, but if you have two other in play, you can just kind of use the change clothes ability and then put the tool back on Garbodor. And then, you know, of course, once abilities are locked, you don't necessarily need change clothes because you can't use it anyway. So interesting idea. Or of course, the Silvally toolbox metal, perhaps, you know, or even any variation, I suppose, where you want to keep those memories, the fighting, psychic, electric memories in play. You know, they might not be relevant at the moment, but say you need to Sycamore your hand and you want to keep it, that could be really, really useful. So I could see that coming into play at some point. So here we are with the last pack, and let's see what we've got. Will we finish off strong? Let's see. Oh, there's an escape board. And we do. Look at that. Pheromosa GX full art. Really, really cool card. I think it was in the Ultra Beast promo box previously and then released here in Ultra Prism. So cool. Very happy to end off on that full art rainbow rare. Not really sure how good the card is, to be honest, but at the same time, beautiful art. Really do like it. And happy to end off on a Rainbow GX. So that's awesome. And I got to say, I have 2 boxes. This is the final tally. Do have a little bit of light there on these cards, so I'll pull them out. But end up with Pheromosa GX, Full Art Rainbow, a Cyrus Prism, Dialga GX, 2 Dialga GXs, 2 Solgaleo Prisms, and then the 3 Duskmane Necrozmas, the 1 regular, 1 Full Art, and then 1 Full Art Rainbow, which is really cool. The Darkrai Prism, Pokemon Fan Club Full Art, Glaceon GX, the Looker Full Art, the Silvally GX, I love that new art. Lunala Prism, and the Super Boost Energy. I think the Palkia GX I did miss, but that was in the previous box opening. So I gotta say, not too bad at all. Very happy with these pulls, and happy to have them too for different theory crafting, seeing what the meta is going to bring in the next little while. So really looking forward to that. But that's it for this box opening, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And hope these polls inspire you to, do a little theory crafting yourself, seeing what's out there. and building the deck that you really want to play. Be sure to follow on Elevate Your Craft on YouTube. The website is elevateyourcraft.net. There's also the Facebook page, which is Elevate Your Craft, all one word, and then EYCKAS on Instagram, and then EYCKAS on Twitter as well. So as I mentioned, even in the last video, Pokemon is what I do outside of the calisthenics and jump rope. The calisthenics and jump rope is my core. It's what I specialize in. It's what I love doing, what I've been doing for a long time now. But I thought, you know what, it'd be so cool to showcase some of the Pokemon that I play and the cards that I get, because I really enjoy playing it outside of that. Definitely much newer to the game, so certainly not, trying to be some... Definitely want to play competitive and get better at the game, but still a lot to learn here. So definitely want to share more for the fun and just to engage conversation and that kind of thing. So definitely going to take some time to get to a high level of play, but hey, that's like anything else, right? Been doing calisthenics for almost 10 years now, progressive calisthenics, and jump rope for 5, and you got to put the time and work in, right? So that's what it's all about. But thanks again for watching this box opening. You can definitely look forward to more, as well as the PTC GO matchups. So take it easy, guys, and I'll catch you next time.